Good afternoon. I am Olga Hemsworth. Welcome to Newscast 7 East. Our lead story is the huge controversy over whether endangered animals should be or should not be cloned. Cloning is the process of making an exact copy of an animal, using the complete genetic material of another body's cell. Now let's go to Dr. Champion, who is our science correspondent and expert in the field. Hello, I am Dr. Champion. I am here today to demonstrate the most popular way an animal is cloned. First, remove the DNA from the egg's nucleus and place it off to the side. Then take the DNA that you want replicated and place it into the other cell's nucleus. After that, you zap it with electricity to get the DNA to start replicating. After this, you'd place these cells into a surrogate mother where these cells would grow and become an animal. Thank you, Dr. Champion, for that lovely demonstration. Now let's go to Melody Flatt to hear about the positives about cloning.
Laura Logan from 60 Minutes claims that the African cat was cloned and ended up having a litter of 8 kittens. Chantel Voss claims that Dolly reproduced and gave birth to 4 lambs in her lifetime. Even though she was an endangered species, it proves that clones can reproduce. Pumalina, a cloned mouse, reproduced 2 healthy litters, according to the Honolulu Star Bulletin. Another pro is that it helps repopulate endangered species. An Asian gar has been cloned using a cow's eggs by the Massachusetts Biotech Company. This is going to help preserve the gar and not let them go extinct. Pasolini from the University of Toronto, Italy, made a clone of a European mouth loon that actually has lived for more than a few days. The sheep is very healthy, according to Biahal P. Trivedi. Another thing that proves cloning is good is that Dr. Monique Wolvenkamp has cloned a hairy-nosed wombat. She works with Monash University and might save this species of wombat since there are only 80 left in the wild. Another thing good about cloning is that it is improving our success rates with cloning. One thing that proves this is that the Mouflon sheep was actually lived for over 7 months. It was the first cloned animal to live beyond infancy, according to Edward R. Winstead. Researchers at the College of Veterinary Medicine at Texas A&M University have cloned a white-tailed deer. The deer lived for over a few months, enough to be able to do DNA tests. According to Kate Tobin, the gar was one of the first attempts of cloning an endangered species, and it died 2 days after birth because of a bacterial infection. Also, it said that the infection was most likely not even from cloning, but just a natural cause. The gar seemed to be very healthy besides the death of the disease. Obviously, we are getting a lot better at cloning, considering if that was one of the first attempts, the animals are starting to live a lot longer.
Thank you for your input, Melody Flatt. Now let's go to Alexandria Fleming to hear the negatives of cloning to save animals.
Cloned animals tend to have defects. Scientists in Spain cloned the Peruvian ibex, which wasn't an extinct animal, but they brought it back to life, but due to lung failure died 6 minutes after. The University of Newcastle in Australia brought back a recently extinct frog that gave birth through its mouth, but the frog died almost immediately after. An endangered animal called the Asian gar was cloned, but died 2 days after because the cloned animal had an infection. The infection didn't come from the cloning, but it came because the immune system of the cloned gar was very weak. Also, another con is that cloning takes hundreds of tries. AnimalResearch.com states that it took 277 failed attempts and 29 embryos that had died to clone Dolly. Many adult sheep had to go through this suffering process while trying to clone Dolly the sheep. For every 1,000 attempts of cloning an animal, only 30 animals could come out of it, according to the University of Utah. 80% of cloning attempts fail to produce viable offspring, according to .gov. Cloning is very expensive. It costs $750,000 to clone Dolly the sheep, not including all the research put into place before the cloning actually took place. Scientists are estimating that to bring back an extinct animal such as the woolly mammoth or the saber-toothed tiger, it would cost up to $10 million in research and all. Kevin Welch says it will cost $150,000 to clone a baby horse. Just imagine the cost of having to clone multiple animals.
Thank you, Alexandria Fleming, for your view of cloning. Thank you for watching, and tune in next week to watch our next controversial topic of gay rights. I am Olga Hemsworth, and this is Newscast 7 East.